Gabriel makes a plea, saying they need to help Rick fight and that Rick can do anything. The leader takes Rick to see the up, swiftly pushes him.
Yeah.
Down.
So my favorite things, Return of the Jedi, a combination of Army of Darkness, it was actually scary. Like I just felt like I know Rick's not gonna die, but I still felt tense when he puts his hand on the thing. Like, okay, you could wrestle him, right? No, you can't. He literally just put his hand at the worst spot. He tried kicking it, which I figured you should do that now, but he got cut, and
tetanus be damned. For
exactly. Yeah, tetanus paradise there.
It did. As soon as he went into that pit, I was thinking, this is Army of Darkness. Someone's gonna throw him. Someone's gonna throw him
the chainsaw,
a chainsaw, or his hatchet or something.
Yeah. Almighty One. And it'd be Father Gabriel actually. He's the religious one. He's the closest thing to mysticism.
King Ezekiel would have to come out and do that.
Almighty One, here you go, and some somersaults later.
Yeah, and then this like boss level 4 Resident Evil comes out.
Yeah,
from the wall, full of spikes. Now,
I liked it a lot.
Okay, yeah, it was good. It was a interesting concept,
right?
But really doesn't seem too difficult. You basically just have a walker who is blind because his helmet is covering his eyes, so he doesn't really know where he's going. And all you have to do is grab something. Just grab anything. Grab a...
Well, that's why he used the walls, but there wasn't anything like very malleable for him to grab.
Even
to
a
use
bag
anything.
of trash, just like hit him with a bag.
Well,
of
that's
trash.
what they use. He used the walls, and that's where like Return of the Jedi comes in, because when he kills that big beast, and when Luke kills that big beast in that chamber, it's just he just close the door on him, and then that's that.
It took him a while. I don't know why Rick's first idea was to pierce his own hand.
He probably thought like he could get a spot where he does, but the thing is actually more mobile than he thought. That's the problem.
Yeah.
So I wonder if they could do that with like let's say like you just take the walkers, do that to all of them, and have them just attack like the sanctuary. And how difficult would that be for them? Because they have like these they have that titanium metal, and you try shooting them in the head, it won't work.
Yeah, they made a big group of that, but you got to not blind them. You got to make them little eye holes.
Yeah.
But you make them eye holes, then they're...
It's very risky to get them all at once. Get a bunch of walkers, go through some doors. So then you have to customize this headgear, so that way they don't get shot in the head right away, and just like lead them to Negan eventually.
Yeah, you just make them a bunch of armor, like Lord of the Rings. You're making the orcs armor. You're doing that, but you got to do something with the eyes, because you can still get stabbed in the eye. So I guess that's...
Does it always lead to the brain though? Yeah, I guess so. If it's deep enough,
it can.
Yeah,
you got to aim up.
Yeah,
aim up.
Well, they've made that mistake before, where they just
and it still kills. You can in this show you can get stabbed in the neck and it's going to hit your brain.
Right.
So you're good.
Oh, but imagine like that clotheslining thing, the stunt they did last episode. Can you imagine? You still have the ones, so they're cut in half. Can't they just crawl the whole time? Like the wrestler can just crawl, and you have a crawling walkers going up on the freeway.
No, man. So David, half the jars we took. One time. This time. Yes? This is her form of
easy to quote, isn't it?
Negotiation.
Easy to quote, right?
Yeah, very easy. Just what kind of talking is that? Anyway, like Rick is just like, no. He's like, we take 2/3. You take half. 2/3.
No,
half.
We give you a third, he said.
Yeah.
Half.
They want half. He gives them a third.
Yeah, he's like, no, you could only get a third.
Semantics, man.
How do you do a third? To be honest, that's like one of the most hardest fractions, because you can never get a whole.
Look, you split something 3 ways.
Yeah, I know, but when you split something 3 ways, it's always like that odd number that can never lead to 100%, right? It's always like 99.9 every time.
You get to that fraction of.
Well, I feel like people wouldn't be splitting hairs over that. Like a third. If I was in the post-apocalypse and we're doing negotiations and splitting something 3 ways, I'd be like, no, give me at least 20. It's more than 25%, but like
somebody wants an extra grain of gunpowder, give it to them.
Yeah,
done.
That's what I'm saying. But,
yeah. So, what's her name? What is her name? One of them is Tamiel. The leader's name is Jadis.
Right.
So Jadis, they agree on Rick's terms basically, and half the jars. So they can keep half the jars they took from Alexandria.
And she means like the non-perishables, right?
Yeah.
Okay, the jars.
Even though because sometimes they open cans. Sometimes
right.
open cans rot.
Sometimes rot inside.
Yeah, exactly. So she tells him to say yes. And Rick says yes, but Rick says yes in a way where he knows and she knows who the boss is.
He's grinning a lot this episode.
He's just he's humoring her.
I have like tetanus right now, and I can still put a smile on my face.
Yes.
Or hepatitis.
So it looks like they've got friends. They just need to find guns. I wonder where where are the guns coming from.
I just don't understand how this works. Like, part of me is just like, okay,
I just want to be clear. I know where the guns are coming from.
Well, of course, okay. Yeah. It's just to say, but it's just even to say that, like, it's like, okay, yeah, no problem. We'll find guns. But isn't that the problem you're having right now? Like, I would say, okay, in terms, we'll get you guns. Okay, if we find them, right? Like, I don't know how, like, I guess like, you're right. He is humoring them because they don't even have guns themselves, or if he's already thinking of a way to get into the sanctuary and busting out some of their guns, which would be extremely difficult. But we all know where they do have to resort to.
Yeah.
And
Heat's on Tara.
Yeah, he goes to Tara. He's like, yeah, I guess you know where not to look.
You're gonna give up your beach of women?
Yeah.
Or what's she gonna do? Fight for your group? She's gonna give up the guns. A thing that concerns me,
Rosita,
a little bit. Oh, Rosita for sure.
She
that's a little bit later. It's a little bit later. I don't want to get into any spoilers here, so I'm just gonna talk and
spoilers for the same episode we're talking about.
No, just for the future of.
Okay,
we'll
lay in. Okay,
it's basically this group doesn't exist in the comics as far as I can remember.
Right? Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
and they are very similar to a group that's coming up.
The Whispers, right?
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
they're not really similar, but they're the closest thing we've come to so
right.
far, and the leader is kind of similar to the leader of the Whispers. And I don't understand why they're doing it. Why they're doing
maybe
it
they
now.
won't bring the Whispers in.
But the Whispers are such a great story arc. Like you got to keep them.
Maybe they'll bring something else. They renewed for how many more seasons? Like, we're bringing to the logistics of it. Let's say if they're going to sign on for a while now, like let's just for example, like Andrew Lincoln and I'm about to say Abraham.
Yeah,
Lincoln.
but this is all speculative. We don't know how long.
But they signed a contract. They have it for at least this many years to come. They have
a new contract because all their contracts are pretty much up.
When?
Very soon. They're like
2-3 years though.
No, we talked about this. How like this
really?
might be the like how they might take a break after the war if there's like a war going on between if it still plays out in like they end up fighting the Saviors. Remember we talked about how there might be a cast change.
Right, that's
because some of these people.
Some other circumstances.
This isn't in like 3 or 4 years. This is soon.
Like cast, but like not a huge main cast change.
Could be. You
Could
don't know.
be.
Like if Rick, Daryl, let's say everyone, including Carl, and all them want to leave the show.
I will look into this further, but I remember them signing another 4-year deal from now.
When?
Like it was this year. It was like literally just last year. They signed a 4-year deal. Like 4. So it's at least 4.
It goes against everything that we've talked about, even in the last couple months, because we talked about it in the last couple months.
We talked about a lot of things.
How their contract is really close to being done.
Really?
And
I'll look into it. I'll bring it in next week. It's not a problem. We'll see how.
I know it's not a problem.
Well, not a problem for me to look for it. I'm just saying.
Well, I'll Google it after too. You don't have to tell me.
Oh, I know.
I'm telling you right now. Anyway, it wouldn't make sense to just drop a key arc in the comic. It's just they'll have to make them a little different.
They have dropped key. Well, they haven't they? No.
Every major note has been.
If anything, they've had more. If anything, on the show, obviously.
Yeah,
because like the cannibals and terminus. Yeah.
We go over to Carol. Jerry brings Carol a cobbler.
We want cobblers so much.
Yeah, and then Daryl knocks on her door just a few seconds later, and we get a pretty significant reunion between the two of them.
That's right, yeah.
But we don't get to see it right away. He just wants to know why she left. He's got tears in his eyes. He's emotional. We're back to Rick and Gabriel. They have a moment together. Enemies can become friends is the takeaway of all that.
Yeah.
So maybe they're best friends now.
Don't forget, Daryl. Daryl. That happens later on. I see. Yeah, when he's sorry, I thought it was the same scene. There you go. There. Yeah. So it's that's interesting. What comes up next is Rosita, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Being her usual atrocious self.
I don't get it because I thought after seeing the whole military thing, especially put into like her military knowledge come to play with the dynamite last episode.
Yep.
And like Rosita, do the math. Like you need the numbers. Like going to do things off by yourself is basically just working for yourself. You might as well just do what Carol does and just leave on your own. Just leave.
Yeah. Well, she saw what happened when she shot that single bullet at Negan.
Yeah.
Got 2 people killed.
She's just angry. She's just so angry, and I feel like
she hasn't learned her lesson.
Yeah, I don't understand. And the thing is that what I can't stand about it is just because I don't know if it's because a lot of people take pride in the female roles in The Walking Dead, and just like when you see them like flounder off a bit, a lot more than the men. I really feel like that holds an argument to saying, like, why did they do that in a way?
Well, I don't know. Morgan's pretty intolerable.
Well, but for the right reasons. Rosita is being reckless. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like
you can't accuse Morgan for being pure. There's nothing wrong with that. When it could get in the way, but when you think you can't hold it too much against it, you're not going to kill him over it. Rosita, it's
I'm thinking about killing Morgan over it. Morgan's costing people lives, as is Rosita. Maybe she's just a really good actor, but I'm coming to hate her because she has an attitude that I can't imagine is purely character based. I feel like this attitude has to extend into her real life. Just the way she looks,
really
off camera, the way she
looks great off camera. What are you saying?
No, not the way she physically looks off camera. The way she averts her eyes.
Okay,
the way that
I haven't seen too much of it, but
just her body language is.
No, I'm just thinking about her body. No, I'm kidding.
Anyway, her body language is something that I can't stand.
Okay,
and I guess it's true to the character.
Maybe she's method acting. I don't know. Could be.
Well, not method acting. Unless that's just how she is in real life. Tara is also her own brand of upsetting.
Well, Tara. I mean, she's not doing any harm. She's being comical. But
she's like the other end of like Rosita's at one end, Tara's at the other end, and just
of what though? Like ends of what? What do you mean?
Of tolerability. Like one of them is just being just a horrible person. The other person is just being so not gullible, but what's the word? Just too hopeful, and doesn't really know how to speak. Like one doesn't know how to speak to the other, and that's their problem.
Right.
And seeing the two of them to go toe to toe is I'm cringing the whole time.
It's just that I don't know why like they're making the female characters cause the drama when like you have a wide variety of characters that cause the drama that doesn't have to go to a certain trope. Yeah. And you bring in these new characters, a female leader. There's a whole new gang or whatever it is, and you use that. And apparently, I was watching The Talking Dead for a bit, and when the actress auditioned for the lead role of the Scavengers, they haven't decided if it was meant to be for a male or a female character. So they were open to seeing, who was the best actor to take this role, and it was her, which is great. Okay. That's fine, and that's a good approach to casting. But just the way they're going with, I have a hard time believing that if Rosita was a military trained person, she should be. She should have some leadership, show some, some camaraderie, show some, some self-dignity a little bit more than what she's showing now, because now she's being reckless, she's being emotional, and I guess it makes her human, but again, it's like, why are you making the female roles so unstable? Like, really unstable. Why, like, Rick was unstable, but then he gets it together, like, within 3 episodes, and Rosita has to be, it has to be a thorn at someone's side,
Yeah, but I mean, I know what you're saying, but I'm sticking with every character is unreasonable. Every character is acting one way one day, one way the other day.
I don't know. Rosita seems
right
like
now. Spotlight is on her though, for sure.
Yeah, it is, and I just find it like just go along with it. Like you need the numbers. You need to do good math to know that you have to accommodate to groups of people to stand up against a far more superior group of people.
Yeah, and I thought it would have taken Spencer to die, which Spencer did die. I thought once he died, she would come around a little bit and realize that what he was saying was right.
Right.
At least that they have to do all this together.
I wonder what's going to be next. I mean, would it take Sasha to die in a way? Because there's a prediction that maybe she could be the next to go, seeing as she outside the show has recently signed with a Star Trek series. So you're wondering if that leads to her doing more. We don't really know for sure. It's speculation, but it could be. Is that going to take? As we saw even in the first episode, the last episode, that they weren't really getting along at all. Like like Sasha tries to open up to Rosita a little bit, try to be like, let's put that aside, he's gone, let's try to reconcile, and Rosita wants none of it.
But they had that nod at the end of
last season. They did. I know, she totally forget the nod,
Yeah, forget the nod. It's on.
Yeah, it's all it is. So
or it's off. Who knows?
It's totally off. Yeah, I don't know. I just I'm really disappointed with her. Tara, no, I mean, like, I would disagree with you with Tara. Tara's just, if I have to look for comic relief, and I don't want to look for it in Jerry, I'd rather look for it in Tara.
Yeah, I don't want to give Jerry any support.
Exactly. I wanted to have Tara being, that comic relief part of it. Could be cringeworthy sometimes, but it could also be very endearing.
Yeah, but the success of these guys winning the fight is kind of hinging on Tara right now, stepping up and giving up these beachcombers.
Right, and it could happen. I mean, like Rick even says, well, Tara, I guess we'll know where not to look, and she's like, yeah, we know where not to look.
Yeah, she's having an internal struggle now.
Yeah, it's. I wonder, like, if she have to. The thing is, another character. I mentioned the last episode when we were casting for last episode. I said, like, there's no one to look for in the sanctuary, and actually, I forgot. There is Eugene, but like, there can't be too much emphasis on what's happening to him in the sanctuary.
I'm all right without Eugene in my life. What was it? That girl's name again?
Janice?